Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Diatonic Dissection, where we crack open music to see what makes it tick. This is the beginning of a new series looking at Sonic the Hedgehog 2. A quick bit of background, this soundtrack and its predecessor were composed by Masato Nakamura, a bassist and founding member of J-pop group Dreams Come True, who are great. Go listen to them after you finish watching this and bumping up my watched hours. Much like the first game soundtrack, Nakamura was composing this music while recording an album for Dreams Come True, this one being their fifth album called The Swinging Star. Do all the usual YouTube stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and have an ice cream cone in your back pocket in the name of the algorithm gods. If you want the sheet music for this video, as well as all my others for free, head on over to the Patreon, patreon.com/Diatonic Dissection. There's a link down below to save you trying to spell it out. Much like the first video I did on the first soundtrack, we're going to have to combine several shorter tracks into one video. In this case, it is the options and title music. The title music is pretty much the same as the first games, but it has a bit more flair. Let's get into it. The tempo is 240 BPM and the key is A major. There are only 3 chords for the opening theme, A, G and G sharp. If we're sticking to the key strictly, then that G sharp major chord should be a G sharp diminished, but screw it, it finishes off the track, so it makes sense. The main melody is pretty much the same as it was for the first game's opening. The main thing to be aware of is the arpeggio towards the end, as it will involve barring and crossing strings if you're playing it on guitar. There is a counterpoint for the main melody, but it has 2 parts and they are harmonized, so it's a bit like a combination of counterpoint and extra melody. So I'll demonstrate these 2 parts separately and then together. With the title music having this super bouncy feel, it lends itself to ragtime music. You may not know the genre by name, but you do know the music itself, as the most famous piece is called The Entertainer and it was composed by Scott Joplin. Here is the title music imagined as a ragtime. I tried to play this on piano, but I couldn't get it up to any sort of decent standard, so I had to program it in the end. The bass part is very similar to the original and it contributes to the bouncy feel. The bass is again tuned to drop A for that big low note at the end. The drum part for the title music is slightly more involved this time than it was for the first game, including a triplet flourish to finish off. Now, here is the entirety of the title music together with all the parts. Now that we're done with the title music, let's move on to the options. Who knew that music for something that you probably won't be looking at very often would be so epic sounding? The tempo is 160 BPM and the key is a difficult one, as the first chord is C major, which is usually a good indicator of what your key is. However, the other chords are A flat and B flat major, which would suggest E flat major as the key, as that is the first major key that has an A flat in it. But most of the E's in the main melody and other parts are just E natural, except for when they are over the A flat major chord. I don't know. We're going to say it's C major for the sake of simplicity and the fact that I am so very tired. The main melody is fairly simple, so not much to say except for the previously mentioned E flat that you will see over the A flat chord. Again, the counterpoint is actually a counterpoint. You're playing the arpeggios of the chords, and that's it. So here we go. The extra melody is an interesting one, as it is the same descending 4-note pattern, C, B, A and G. However, when the chords are B flat and A flat, the B and A in the sequence are flattened. It feels very strange to play on guitar as the frets are all so close together, so it may take some getting used to. The bass part is very simple, so I have next to nothing to say about it. Here it is. The drums are doing a standard kind of march thing with the snare with triplets, but there are some 8th note toms thrown in, just to confuse matters. Here is all of the Octane's music together. Now, with all of these parts combined, you get Captain Bladder! No, but you get a pretty classical orchestral sounding piece. So here it is, reimagined using samples. And that's it. Another 10 seconds or so of music stretched into God knows how much analysis. Do the YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell. And while you're at it, gamble in a library in the name of the algorithm gods. If you want the sheet music for this video, as well as all my previous ones, for free, head on over to the Patreon, patreon.com/Diatonic Dissection. There is a link down below to save you trying to spell it. Thank you very much for watching if you're still here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!